Hi guys! Welcome to Lesson 12. Today is the first day of Lesson 12. We are going to make a pocket in our math journal because I have a few things that if you can print, then you can do that and put it in this pocket. So remember when we do that, you take that page and you want to fold it down so that it creates a triangle, and then use your glue stick to glue along the bottom and along that short side, and then glue it down on that page like so. The title of Lesson 12 is Solving Problems with Percents. So there's my pocket. My title, Lesson 12, Solving Problems with Percents. Then, when you turn the page, you should start by writing the EQ at the top of that page. The essential question is, how can I apply my knowledge of percents to real-world scenarios? So this is going to be probably the most recognizable for you. This is when we talk about sales and taking percentages off of things, but also we talk about adding percentages onto things. A percent for a tip, or for tax, or if we're charging someone interest on a loan. Those kinds of things. So we're going to talk about how to problem solve those. We did talk about them a little bit earlier this school year. And so I'm going to go over just a tiny bit of review, and then today's basically just going to be an intro and what that looks like for the rest of this lesson. So when we're dealing with percentages, we need to remember that 100% is the total amount of percent. And mostly when we're dealing with percentages today or during this lesson, we're going to be changing a percent to a decimal. So if we do that, we want to divide by 100. So if I have 25% and I divide that by 100, I get 0.25. And you can do that on your calculator, double check me to make sure that I did it right. But remember, when we talk about percents to decimals, that means we move the decimal to the left twice. So here the decimal was at the end, and I moved it over twice to get to 0.25. The other thing that we've talked about before that's really important to remember for this lesson is that the word of means to use multiplication. So when we are finding the percent of something, that means we multiply. So if we did 20% of 84, that means we change this to 0.20, and we multiply that by 84. I'm going to use my calculator. 0.20 times 84 gives us 16.8. Okay? this is just the intro to what lesson 12 is going to be about. Lesson 12 is going to be about markups and markdowns. Okay, so a markdown, and I'm going to do this in two different colors. A markdown is when you take a percentage off of a total. Okay, so something like a sale price. You might see problems where they're saying that an item is $100 and they're going to take off 20% of that item to get the sale price. We also maybe call that a discount. You may receive a discount on an item because it's been used before, and that's taking a certain percent off of that item. So when we do markdowns, not only are we going to use multiplication, because we are going to use the word of, but we're also going to use subtraction. Because we're taking the price off. It's going to be lower than it already was. Okay, and then we have what is called a markup. If you can imagine, a markdown is taking a percentage off of a total. A markup is when a percentage is being added to a total. Some examples of this include tax. That's the most common one. We see that every day. When we purchase items at the store, we have to pay an additional 8% tax on those items. Another one that you might see quite frequently is if you provide a tip to a waitress or a waiter at a restaurant. Usually you tip somewhere between 10 and 20%. And so that's based on how much your total order bill is. Sometimes you will see that the word gratuity instead of a tip. It's basically like an extra amount of money that you're using to thank the waiter and the waitress for providing you their service. And then there's also interest and commission. Now, interest and commission are both percentages that are being added to a total amount. Interest is usually being added to a loan, like from the bank, and so you have to pay the bank back more money than you borrowed from them, whereas commission is something like if you're a car salesman, you make money just by being there to sell cars, but also for each car that you sell, you get a certain percentage back off of that, kind of like a bonus. So if a markup is a percentage being added to a total, so we're still going to use multiplication because we're still going to use of, but we're going to also use addition. So a markdown, we use subtraction. A markup, we use addition. Now, what I would like you guys to do is do the check-in. There's 4 questions. All 4 of them are just having you recognize whether the situation is a markup or a markdown. Will you use subtraction and take away a percentage from that price, or will you use addition and add money or a percentage to that price? Good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow.